Good morning. 10 games in and still no defeat. Who would have thought that was ever going to happen? I know I didn't. I honestly felt that with the loss of Harry Kane, mid-table scrapping was going to be the order of the day. So I am, along with most people I guess, in absolute shock at where we are, where we're heading. So it was never going to be easy, and that probably wasn't our best performance. But what it does show is that we can actually do some stuff that's pretty ugly and still get ourselves over the line and keep ourselves going in really difficult situations. I think you've got to give a massive amount of credit to Crystal Palace last night. As much as I would have loved to have seen us go there and just roll them over, I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I don't know if any of you watch the Irish Hotspur channel, but he does a prediction every week, and I've been going on there, and I got both last week and this week, although it's still in the same week, but I've got both predictions absolutely spot on. I honestly felt that we were going to win, but I felt it was going to be a 2-1, and I said I thought it was going to be a hard-fought battle, probably harder than the Fulham game, which it actually was. But I think you've got to give an awful lot of credit to Crystal Palace after coming from a really bad defeat. They were well organised, they were compact, they were well drilled, they knew what they were going to do. The crowd was right behind them, and I thought they were absolutely fantastic for most of the game until Tottenham got a real hold on it. And I think, you could hear the Tottenham fans singing really clearly. But overall, I thought they really played their part. And it's unfortunate for them that they conceded the own goal, which really then kind of made them have to come out and have a go, which obviously then led to the second goal, which I think is what happens when you're in that situation. They put us under a lot of pressure and certainly had the better opportunities in that game. But what it did show is the absolute pure class of Van de Ven, Romero and Bentancur. Bentancur, what am I talking about? Vicario, who were absolutely solid in defence. And I remember Mourinho saying, sometimes you can't be the nice guys. Sometimes you have to be cunts. And I actually thought that when I was watching the game last night, with the really frustrating defensive three passing and just essentially wasting time. But the aim of that was to draw the opposition in, to kind of create some space, because they were so well drilled and so set in their game plan that they wasn't giving anything. So there was nowhere to kind of go. So they kept passing it around the back, and it got really frustrating, certainly for the home fans, but probably for the away fans as well, because it's not what we want to see. We don't want to see that sort of football. We want to see attacking, free-flowing football, which we've started to become accustomed to. So when you start seeing your players doing that, it gets a little bit frustrating. But actually, if you look at the bigger picture of it, this is what good teams do. They control the game. They make sure that they don't concede, and that they keep going, and they frustrate the opposition, and they frustrate the fans. They quieten them down and all the rest of it. So yeah, I thought it was probably the right thing to do. It was probably the right kind of actions, and something different that we haven't done previously. And I always get a little bit worried about it, purely because we've never been a team that can pass around the back without getting punished for it. But to see the calmness of these guys, all the way through the team, there was situations where I thought, just clear it, but actually they don't just clear it, they pass it, they play it out, they interlink, and they move it around. And sometimes you kind of have to look a bit deeper than just how how many goals you score, whatever. You have to look at the overall performance and the control of the game and how it's going. Like I say, it was never going to be easy. London derbies are always difficult. Proper old school stadium with, proper fans who really want to get behind their team. And I think you've got to be aware of that going in there. And I think Ange was aware of it in terms of his pre-match and all the rest of it. He said it wasn't going to be an easy game, and I absolutely thought that as well. So really, really pleasing to see the game out. I've got to do a shout out for Brennan Johnson, who came on and looked really, really good, helping to get that second goal, and actually could have scored one himself had he put the headed the ball into the net rather than back to set someone else up. A couple of occasions I thought he looked absolute class. Shame for Ben Davies, who I didn't think did anything too bad, but I think the strength of the opposition coming at him and the pace kind of caught him out a little bit. So I think it made sense for the change, but I would like to have seen a more natural left back in that position than Emerson Royale, if I'm being honest, because I'm still not 100% convinced that he is the quality of player that we need there. Don't get me wrong, I think he's done all right. I think he's done well, and hasn't really let us down, not like he had done previously. I think he's moved on a lot, but I'm still not convinced he's really there yet. When you see the quality of Udogie, it's a big, I think any player is pretty much a step down from that, because I've just been so impressed with him. But again, absolutely brilliant to see Rodrigo Bentancur back on the pitch ahead of schedule, and actually looked really solid and really comfortable on the ball straight away. And I think as well, when you saw the end of the game, the way the players gathered around him, got hold of him, and were really, celebrating his return, I think it shows so much in terms of team spirit and togetherness. And even watching the players going off when they were substituted, Postecoglou, he gave them a pat on the back, as if to say, well done, you played your part, you're doing all right. And every one of them reacted in a positive way, which is really nice to see, because you don't want that dissent in the team where people are fed up with, I'm coming off, I'm not playing, blah blah blah, because it can get a little bit like that. So I think there's a real togetherness, and I think that's so important in what we're doing at the moment. I guess the other thing I just wanted to pick up on is Højbjerg, who came on and actually did really, really well. I was kind of keeping an eye to see if he was still the kind of playback merchant that we'd seen in previous seasons, and just kind of holding. And actually I thought, no, he's developing in his game and doing things a little bit differently, looking for the forward pass and stuff. So I thought he did all right, and I do almost feel like it's a little bit of a shame if he does go, but competition for places in that midfield is going to be tough. It was also good to see Brian Hill come back as well, who I've liked since they brought him in, and I just would love to see him really get some opportunity. But the big shout out against him is his size and how easy he's pushed off the ball and all the rest of it. But if he could get some time in the team at some point, maybe we can see what he really has got, because there looks to be a quality player in there. So yeah, I thought there was lots of positives to take out of that game last night, even though it wasn't the best of games to watch on a aesthetic level. But we win the game. We go 5 points clear at the top, and that kind of helps build towards our goal of getting into Europe. So, all this talk about winning the league or Champions League or whatever at the start of this season, if you'd have said to me, we're going to get back into Europe next season, and maybe have a go at a cup, then I'd have been happy with that. But I think we just take one game at a time. We see where it takes us, and we end up where we deserve to end up. That's kind of how it works out. There's some good teams in this league. There are big challenges ahead. We've still got Chelsea to come next week. We've got Man City, we've got Newcastle. There's still some difficult tasks ahead to see how we cope with those. So, we just keep plodding on and see where it takes us. I don't think we should be talking about winning the league or anything of that nature. I think it's better to just be under the radar, plodding on, working hard and doing our thing. And I think that's the ethos that Postecoglou is breeding into him. One game at a time. Let's see where it takes us and enjoy the moment. We've been through some pretty dire, dark days for a lot of years. So to actually be in a position where we're enjoying our football and having a good day out, that's the most important thing. So for me, I'm just taking it like that and enjoying the football and enjoying the feeling of being in a good position. And then we see where it takes us at the end of the season. And we'll enjoy it one way or the other. Because at the end of the day, we'll be back again. We'll be back again next season because we're addicted to this team and to this game. So let's see what the results bring this weekend. With a bit of luck, we can keep that 5 point gap and your Man City, your Liverpool, your Arsenals. Maybe they can drop a few more points. That'd be really, really nice, just to keep the pressure on them. You never know. You've got a dream, ain't you? But keep your feet on the ground. Because sometimes you have to wake up from that dream. So never mind. Anyway, great result in the end. 5 points clear, top of the league, and we're there for another week and see what happens. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Up the Spurs.